where's the life in that? Like, you're just checking the box to try to get an expression that's the same, and that's the beautiful potential that's inside all of us, is that garlic doesn't cure cancer, neither does, a germ cause a disease. It's our interaction with all these things, and it is the infinite quantum potential that is every second.
Hey, Holistic Hilda here. I bring you experts' experiences and epic adventures to boost your health. I was recently in California and I had to connect with Dr. Tommy John. Actually, cancel that. He doesn't want to be called doctor. He said all those degrees mean nothing. He is the most amazing chiropractor who's challenging us to rethink our paradigm of how we heal our bodies. He said, you heal you. And you've got to hear all the most amazing things he said in this conversation. So check it out and tell me what you think. Tommy, thanks for coming on my channel.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I have to ask you, what's up with the pine cones?
Oh my gosh.
It seems like you've just gone off the deep end.
You're gonna give. All right, so that stemmed from when I got deleted the second time off Instagram. So it's my third account. And I was posting nothing controversial to what another side would even think is controversial. So I only lasted like a week with the second account. When it got deleted, it was almost comical. Like I was like, I'm not even really pulling out the big guns yet. Dr. Cassie, who's my naturopath, she's like, maybe you should just post pine cones. Like joking.
Yeah.
So I did. And it was every morning, I just posted a morning pine cone. Well then artistically, I'm like, how many different angles of a pine cone can I do? So I put one over my eye and just like took a picture. And then everyone started reaching out saying, seriously, are you controlled op? Are you Illuminati? Or it's a Satan sign, like this is a Satan sign or something. And I'm like, and these are people who have been there for a while. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just prove a point here. I'm just posting a picture. And I'm totally manipulating everyone's life to where they're like, they can't live their day unless they know, like specifically. And everyone's like, it's pineal gland. It's this. And I'm like, like I promise you, it was just literally, it started off as this kind of random gesture. But then when I see that people are getting kind of stimulated, I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. And so I have. And now I go, they're like, why the pine cone? Satan symbolism, Illuminati, question mark? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not supposed to share. The organization I'm a part of said no, but I'm a pledge. And they're gonna let me know at a later time when I can move on to posting other things. And it's literally, people are just like, they don't, but it's just a sign of the times of like how much is up for grabs, right? That even you could look at my page and be like, this guy is sinister.
Right, oh my gosh. But I feel like your point also is just like to shake them up, to make them realize, stop looking at me.
Oh yeah.
Right, I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Because we've outsourced our health to people in the conventional medicine circles, but also to people in the alternative health circles, right?
Yeah, and you get a kick out of my responses to people because people are like, why do you do enemas? And I'm like, it doesn't matter why I do a coffee enema. It doesn't make any difference to you. Why do you save your bacon? What is the good behind the bacon fat? It doesn't make any difference. And honestly, if you want to go research it, all I'm trying to suggest is this is just my way of life. These are things that are medicinal for me. I just don't want you to take and check because I've had people follow my life verbatim, like step by step, and they'll like then come out and be like, your system doesn't work. And it's like, first of all, it's not system, and secondly, I wasn't really telling you to do, but it's a check the box mentality. Like, if we go to all the experts, we go to all the seminars, we read all the books, we put it all, I meditated, I woke up, I journaled, I red lighted, I went outside and walked, I earthed, I walked the dog, I talked to it, and then I made my meal, and it's just like, where's the life in that? Like, you're just checking the box to try to get an expression that's the same, and that's the beautiful potential that's inside all of us, is that garlic doesn't cure cancer, neither does, a germ cause a disease. It's our interaction with all these things, and it is the infinite quantum potential that is every second we're different. And we've talked in like 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a completely different person. You're a completely different person.
Yeah.
Every time you guys wake up, you're completely different people. Like, I'm just in this constant state of just path forward. And then if something comes in, like, oh wow, what is this going to teach me today? How am I going to problem solve this right now? But it's not, do I believe in that? Like, that's where we have people who, like, especially with the vaccine, like Does it make sense to you? They don't even know they don't have like a family mission statement. They don't have a belief system. So they're having to try to find self in the face where it's a very personal decision. Nobody has a sense of person anymore, right? Like, oh my God. And I'm not saying I'm a genius with this stuff, but I've fallen down many, many times and have discovered, self. All right, what were we talking about? So,
well, you were saying I should read a book, Personal Experience.
well, I said the best book is Personal Experience.
And I'm like, who wrote that?
Which that's it. But then I've said that too, because that's like personalities, right? Like, I'm better where I experience what people write about. And then I'll be doing something and someone's like, oh yeah, that's just so-and-so's system. And I was like, I don't even know who that so-and-so is. I actually discovered just being a human being, right? Because everything they're writing about it's already there. It's already been there. Where we have, again, back to what we were talking about, we have these experts on really bad things, but we have experts on really good things. Read a book. I don't want to see somebody read 10 books and be able to quote 10 people and do all this stuff. Like, read one. Apply the hell out of it. See what happens. And then go to the next one, or go to the next one, or interject 3 or 4 from different fields. And that's kind of how I am, where personal experimentation, you will learn firsthand what it is to nourish yourself. You'll learn firsthand what it is when your body starts to get fatigued. You'll learn firsthand when you fast. You'll learn firsthand when you sun yourself. You'll learn firsthand what everyone else is writing about, and then you can live through you rather than outsourcing.
I feel like people are afraid to live firsthand. They're just like, tell me, should I eat this? Should I drink this? Aren't they coming to health professionals that way now? I just feel
I think it's like literally, I had an ex, I went and I told her I went surfing. And she's like, you don't know how to surf. I'm like, no, I know. I just got a board and went in the ocean. She's like, you need to sign up for a lesson. It was just like, there's something to just going out and just getting thrashed and owned and learning. And what was I doing? And I was learning, like I was a little kid. Little kids mimic and parents, right? They imitate. And so I was literally out in the ocean and I was watching the good surfers. And I'm just like floating. I'm like, wait, that's where he's standing. That's where they're catching it. All right, let me try that. And I'm like 38 years old, right? And so it's literally, we don't want the experience of that. It's an instant gratification, 1. 2, we're terrified of failing.
Yes.
Like, we don't want our kids to fail or fall down now, right? Like, but there's so much gift and truth in that fail. And it's not a fail, it's always an opportunity. Where if something took, I always say a month to 3 months if somebody presents with some sort of an injury. That's my specialty, a month to 3 months to be fair. But the journey of that 3 months, like let's say you were a shoulder, you came in because you had debilitating shoulder pain, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't gone until 2 months, 3 weeks, and 4 days. And you'd be like, oh, it took 2 months, 3 weeks, and 4 days till this healed. Well, wait a second. But all along the way, at day 2, you were able to hang from a bar pain-free, which you never been able to do. At week 2, all of a sudden you were able to crawl on the ground, but you hadn't been able to do that. So there's all these like little victories along the way, which is the journey, which is the experience, which is life. And then finally, when the body's ready, it just goes, oh, and you're just no longer aware of it. And somebody coming to me with an MRI, and they're like, look at this MRI list, and look at all the things that are wrong with me. And I'm like, you remember last week how you had a pain-free week? And then you had a really bad day, and you decided to go get this image? Did you know that during that week when you weren't experiencing the pain, you still had all this? You were just not aware of it because your body was operating how it was supposed to. And then you had an awareness where your body told you to slow down, come back from work, maybe don't work as much, maybe shift your nourishment, maybe shift how you're sitting, maybe shift how you're sleeping and everything else. And then you go get tests. And then they point out all this stuff that's wrong with you. You had that for like the last 10 years. And then all of a sudden now, your body's just like expressing. Will this all be reversed? I have no idea, nor do I care. But I will know that you won't have any idea about this. You're not even supposed to know about this.
Right.
Like,
we look too much to the data,
medical
right?
imaging, yeah, just
you say
gone.
I have this, so I guess I have that.
Yeah.
Instead of listening and learning and working with our bodies.
It'd be like me looking at a yearbook and looking at faces and making a call on how successful somebody was, what they were feeling, what their relationships were like. I'm looking at an image of a picture of a single point in time. And then imagine if I were looking at, let's just say, I were looking at ankles. And I looked at an ankle to judge the whole. And I was like, wow, you got a really weak foot ankle calf complex. Huh. I know how we can never have a problem with feet or ankles anymore if we cut them off. So if we cut your ankles off, I promise, you will not have a problem with your feet or ankles anymore. Sound good? And that's what we've got now. It's like somebody will go dive into the ankle and go, oh my God, look at all this inflammation and scar tissue and all this stuff. Wow, what a dysfunctional state of being. Cut it off. Wait, but that was a healing response, and you made a blanket judgment on a single joint, just like we're doing around the heart, around the breasts, around the liver, around the thyroid, around the adrenals, around fertility, around...
It's like they say, when in doubt, cut it out. Like this is the system, instead of examining the whole and looking at the person as a person,
Much
and not
worse.
just a condition, right?
It's gotten so much worse since I've started this journey and started pulling back curtains that now the stuff I'm hearing that's out there. And that's why I don't hold back when I exchange in DMs or on it. And it comes across as almost cruel, but I know what's going on in that office and what they're being told and how they're being terrified. And I'm not going another second without that person knowing that there's a different story than what was told to them and their husband or them and their children. There's something else. And if I were to move on and level up, would I be a better version of myself if I let it out? Or would I be a better version if I held it back in? Well, if I let it out. This is my truth. All right, now I'm going to get it. I can't control how you're going to take it and receive it. But I need you to know if there's another story.
Yeah, your hope is that people will be shaken up enough to realize maybe the answer's not out there, maybe it's right here.
And that's why if I get uncomfortable, I'm always like, I'm uncomfortable. This is interesting. Like, what is that person? They're not doing anything to me, but why was I so quick to come back? Huh. That now I'll literally wake up and notice, like, you see my post, I'm like, all right, let's trigger the world. Here we go. And I just like loft it out there. And then everyone's and it's just almost like all right. But then the people who are catching on and getting it, you're on there as well. It's just like, if you are triggered, what work or what seeking do you need to do to go find why you were in the first place? Because I'm not doing it because I'm making money. I don't like being a target. I don't like being slammed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in a Bureau of Investigative Journalism when they like slammed us because we're capitalizing on the pandemic. And I was like, what do I have to gain?
Yeah.
Putting myself out there. I'm literally trying to put a target on my back to basically give you yourself back again. That you have your ability to heal and regenerate anything. That there is no label that they can call something that you can't come back from. And that you're not the most sovereign, free, autonomous being right now as it is. And that your stance, whether you want to protest, you want to march, you want to donate, you want to stand on a panel, you want to do this stuff, fine, that's fine. But those places need a version of you that's better today than it was yesterday. And you owe it to those 5 or those 10 or those whatever. You owe it to us here, you owe it to everybody here to be a better version of yourself, because that was your responsibility when you were gifted to this whole thing. That's it. You do that, we each do that, wow. Like now there's like a shift. Now there's like a complete transformation.
And it doesn't matter what any powers are telling us or what anyone is telling us, if we're true to ourselves, this better world, I mean the world is going to be better because we're each who we're supposed to be.
That's what I say.
And even if this life ends, I mean for each of us or whoever, that's not the end of it, by the way, I don't think.
And it's continuous. It's infinite. And that's why I say the concept of, I did a post, it was not dead equals healthy. That's not true, and it's like, are we living? Like, that's the thing, and we're really not getting out. Like, if there's the one constant is we all don't, it's like, does the body stop and then the spirit leaves, or does the spirit just choose to leave because there's better shit somewhere else? Like, I don't know. I think the latter. And I think the spirit's just like, I want to explore. I want to go to that mountain. I want to be in love. I want to crawl down and, okay, then we owe it to ourselves to get this whole thing so that this spirit can go experience the infinite that is. And that's where, like, sensuality, like the senses, I think they measure only like 14 or 15. Dude, that's like what science has followed.
Yes.
Like, there's so much more we have the capacity to, but nobody will let you know that is the truth, that is the possibility. I said to Dr. Cassie when I said on her intake forms, reason for seeing me, to fly. And I was being dead serious. And she just like looked at it and goes, let's go. Like not even breaking, and didn't, when I said this at a talk in San Francisco, and I was in a backyard, it was like 250 people, kids jumping all over the place, like everyone's everywhere, and I said this, and I said, if you are with a natural practitioner or a health practitioner, your goal is to fly, whether to fly or to actually levitate and fly, which has happened forever. Like people are doing this all over. You won't hear stories about that because they don't want you to know that. But if I truly, that was the case, and your naturopath didn't go, let's go, let's figure this out. If they were like, like you're a human being, fly, like really? And so I literally said this, and I was like, that's why she's my practitioner. That's why I'm her patient. Like this works. Afterwards, I had 3 people come up to me and have a dead serious conversation. One is in a program to try to levitate. The others, like it was this like real conversation about, so what are you doing to try to fly? And it wasn't like making fun of me. It was a real legit standing conversation of, and I was like, this is the new earth.
Yes.
We're sitting in backyards talking about how we can fly.
Limitless.
That's where I want to go.
Well,
So
I
that's
love
the
it. Thank you for taking us with you. We're all going to learn to fly.
Let's
Check
do
this
it.
out.
Boom.
Of all exercises we choose to do, because the body's interpreting as a threat or death, so it'll shift itself out of position or try to buy comfort to have relief. Every exercise we do has the opportunity to shift and buy comfort except one. The dead hang, it can't shift itself, so the only thing it can compensate with is breath. So in the face of this discomfort, if you can control your breath, you can achieve many things going outside. So I try to urge people to hang a total of 5 to 7 minutes a day. Plus, a baby can hang its body weight seconds after being born. So it appears to me it's super important for the overall health of somebody. Plus, 4,000 nerve endings, stimulating nerve beginnings. I think that's it.
And I don't usually hang around like this. I'll do a little bit, but this is good. I'm challenging myself, just like I do when I get in the ice bath. So far so good.
So this is why I love people who've had a trying day or whatever. Hang. It just helps you face who you are at the moment and then truly go to the first thing that changes when we have a shift in from peace to fight or flight, and that's breath. And so you want to challenge controlling your breath. Hang, plus the benefits, do the action of hanging. Decompression of the spine, hand strength. There's so many studies on grip strength and mortality. You're good. What was it?
Good though. Okay, so I saw Tommy John doing some pull-ups the other day with just like these 2 fingers and then these 2 fingers and these 2. I was like, I got what it takes. Watch this. I'm gonna do these, okay? Okay. Go.
Oh shoot. I think you busted.
Cut.